There's a place in Russia where the worst criminals on earth disappear forever. A place so secret, so terrifying, that even speaking its name makes people uncomfortable. The guards who work there have seen things that give them nightmares. The walls hold secrets darker than you can imagine. And once you enter through those gates, you will never, ever leave. This is the story of Black Dolphin Prison. But before we go inside, I need you to do something. If you want to see places most people will never see, if you want to know secrets most people will never know, hit that subscribe button right now. Because what you're about to discover will change how you see the world. And drop a comment below. Tell me, would you survive even one day in a place like this? Now, let's begin. Picture a small town in the middle of nowhere. Snow covers the ground for most of the year. The nearest city is hundreds of miles away. The land is flat, empty, and cold. This is the Orenburg region of Russia, right near the border with Kazakhstan. It's the kind of place where people don't ask questions, where secrets stay buried. In this forgotten corner of the world stands a building. From the outside, it doesn't look special. Just gray walls, barbed wire, watchtowers. But appearances can be deceiving. Inside those walls live 700 men. These aren't ordinary criminals. These aren't people who stole cars or robbed banks. The men inside Black Dolphin have done things so horrible that even other criminals fear them. Together, these 700 men have killed more than 3,500 people. Some killed children. Some ate their victims. Some did things so twisted that the guards refused to talk about them. And here's the strangest part: not a single one has ever escaped from the maximum security section. Not one. In a country where prison escapes happen regularly, where criminals sometimes bribe guards or dig tunnels or break through walls, Black Dolphin has a perfect record. How is that possible? What makes this place different? The answer lies in what happens the moment you arrive. Imagine you're a prisoner being brought to Black Dolphin for the first time. You've been convicted of murder. The judge has given you a life sentence. The prison van stops outside the gates. You hear locks clicking, chains rattling. The door opens, but you don't walk out. Guards grab you. They bend you forward at the waist, almost doubling you over. Your face points at the ground. You can only see their boots and the concrete beneath your feet. They put something over your head, a hood or blindfold. Now, you can't see anything at all. Then they move you. Bent over, blind, you shuffle forward. Your back screams in pain from the position. You have no idea where you're going. You can't see the building, can't see the hallways, can't see the other prisoners. You hear doors opening and closing, heavy doors, steel doors, doors that sound like they could survive a bomb. One door, two doors, three doors. Every single time you move anywhere in Black Dolphin, you will pass through at least 3 steel doors. Every single time, guards will bend you over so you can't see where you're going. This isn't just for the first day. This is forever. Why? Because if you can't see the layout of the prison, you can't plan an escape. If you don't know where the exits are, where the guard stations are, where the weak points might be, you're helpless. The prison has made you blind to your own cage. But that's just the beginning. Finally, still bent over, still blind, you reach your cell. The guards remove the hood. You can stand up straight again. You look around at your new home. It's tiny, about 50 square feet, roughly the size of a small bathroom. There's a bed, a toilet, a sink, and another man. You'll share this cramped space with one other person for the rest of your life. The door slams shut behind you. Now, the real punishment begins. You might think the worst part of prison is being locked up, being separated from your family, losing your freedom. And yes, those things are terrible. But Black Dolphin has perfected something far worse than simple confinement. They break you slowly. Here's your new schedule. You wake up early. You're required to stand for 16 hours every day. Not sit, not lie down, stand. If you try to sit, guards watching through cameras will come and make you stand. Your feet swell, your legs ache, your back throbs, but you stand because you have no choice. 4 times a day, you get food. It's always the same soup. Watery, thin soup with maybe some bread. That's breakfast. That's lunch. That's dinner. That's your midnight meal. Soup, 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 soup. The lights in your cell never turn off. Never. Whether it's noon or midnight, Bright lights shine down on you. You can't escape them. You can't hide from them. They're always there, always burning. Ain't it impossible to tell day from night? Sleep becomes difficult. Your body gets confused. Time starts to feel strange. You spend 23 hours every day in that tiny cell with your cellmate. 23 hours of standing, of bright lights, of going slowly insane from boredom and discomfort. But wait, what about that one remaining hour? Once a day, the guards come for you. They bend you over again, hood over your head again, through the 3 steel doors again. They take you to the exercise yard. Now, when you hear exercise yard, you might picture a field, grass, maybe fresh air, a chance to run around and feel human again. Black Dolphin's exercise yard is nothing like that. It's a cage, a small, concrete cage with metal bars on all sides, including the top. It's barely bigger than your cell. There's no equipment, no basketball hoop, no weights, just empty concrete and you. You get 90 minutes here. That's your outdoor time. That's your chance to exercise. Then back to the cell, back through the 3 doors, back to standing, back to the lights, every single day, for the rest of your life. Some prisoners have been here for 20 years. Some will be here for 40 more. This is their existence, standing in a bright room, eating soup, spending 90 minutes in a cage, and then doing it all again tomorrow. But here's what makes it even more chilling. The guards say this routine is necessary. They say the prisoners in Black Dolphin are so dangerous, so violent, so completely beyond redemption, that these extreme measures are the only way to keep everyone safe. Are they right? Are the men here really that dangerous? Let's talk about who lives in Black Dolphin. There's a man here who killed 78 people, another who killed 82, men who murdered entire families, men who tortured children, men who committed acts so brutal that even reading about them makes you feel sick. These aren't people who made one terrible mistake. These are individuals who hurt others again and again and again. Some of them smiled while doing it. Some of them kept souvenirs from their victims. Some of them said they'd do it all over again if given the chance. The guards at Black Dolphin don't see these men as human anymore. They see them as problems to be managed, threats to be contained. And the prison's job isn't to rehabilitate them or give them a second chance. The job is simpler. Make sure they never hurt anyone ever again. So far, it's worked. But living this way, standing for 16 hours, eating only soup, never seeing daylight properly, never knowing where you are in the building, never experiencing a moment of comfort or peace, what does that do to a person? Some prisoners go crazy. They talk to themselves. They scream at nothing. They pound on the walls until their hands bleed. Others become completely silent, retreating so far into their own minds that they barely respond when spoken to. The prison has cameras everywhere, not just in the hallways in every cell. Guards watch the prisoners constantly. They see everything. There is no privacy, no moment when you're not being observed. Even when you use the toilet, even when you change clothes, someone is watching. This constant surveillance means trouble gets spotted immediately. If a prisoner starts acting violent, guards respond within seconds. If someone tries to make a weapon from the few items in their cell, cameras catch it. If 2 cellmates start fighting, help arrives before serious damage is done. But it also means you can never, not even for 1 second, escape the feeling of being watched, of being studied, of being treated like a dangerous animal in a zoo. And yet, despite all of this, despite the standing, the soup, the lights, the cameras, the 3 steel doors, the blindfolds, there's something the guards haven't told you yet. Something that makes Black Dolphin even stranger than you realize. The prison has a secret, a history, something that happened in these very walls long before it became a supermax facility. Something that still haunts the building today. You see, Black Dolphin wasn't always a prison for the worst of the worst. The building that now holds Russia's most dangerous criminals has been standing since 1745. That's almost 300 years ago. Back then, it served a different purpose. It held different kinds of prisoners. People who opposed the government. People who said the wrong things. People who were in the wrong place at the wrong time. For centuries, this building has seen suffering. It has heard screams. It has watched people break. And some say the walls remember everything. Guards who work the night shift report strange things, sounds that don't make sense, cold spots in hallways, feelings of being watched even when the cameras show nobody there. Most guards don't talk about it openly, but quietly, among themselves, they admit something feels wrong about this place. Something beyond just housing dangerous criminals. Maybe it's the weight of history. Maybe it's knowing what terrible things happened here over hundreds of years. Or maybe just maybe there's something else going on. But let's get back to the present. Back to the 700 men living here right now. In 2011, something unprecedented happened. A documentary crew from National Geographic was granted permission to enter Black Dolphin. They were the first Western cameras ever allowed inside. The Russian government, normally very secretive about its prisons, decided to let the world see. Why? What changed their minds? The answer is simple. They wanted to send a message. They wanted criminals everywhere to know what awaits them if they commit the worst crimes. They wanted the world to see that Russia doesn't mess around with serial killers and terrorists. The footage they captured is disturbing. Prisoners being moved through hallways, bent double, faces toward the floor. Tiny cells with 2 men crammed inside. The exercise cages that look more like animal kennels. Guards explaining, matter-of-factly, that many prisoners will die here. That this is the end of the line. One guard said something chilling during the documentary. These men are already dead. They just haven't stopped breathing yet. Think about that. Imagine knowing, with absolute certainty, that you will never leave. That you will never feel grass under your feet again, never hug someone you love, never eat a good meal, never experience a moment of genuine freedom or joy. Every single day will be exactly like the one before it. Standing, soup, cage, sleep in bright lights. Standing, soup, cage, sleep, over and over and over, for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, until your body finally gives up. That's not just punishment. That's psychological torture, and it's completely legal under Russian law. But here's where things get complicated. Here's where we need to ask difficult questions. Do these men deserve this treatment? Remember who we're talking about. These aren't people who shoplifted or got into bar fights. Let me tell you about some of the prisoners actually held in Black Dolphin. There's a man who police believe killed at least 78 women. He was a police officer himself. He used his position of trust to target vulnerable people. For years, he drove around at night, picking up women, taking them to isolated areas, and murdering them. When they finally caught him, he confessed to dozens of murders. Investigators think there might be even more victims they don't know about. Another prisoner killed entire families. He would break into homes and murder everyone inside: parents, children, even babies. His total victim count is over 80 people. There are cannibals here, men who not only killed their victims but ate parts of them afterward. There are terrorists who bombed buildings, killing hundreds of innocent people. There are men who tortured children before murdering them. When you learn what these individuals did, when you really sit with the horror of their crimes, the question becomes harder to answer. What punishment fits crimes like these? What do you do with someone who has destroyed so many lives and shows no remorse? Some people say Black Dolphin is too harsh, that no matter what someone did, treating them this way is inhumane, that it makes us as bad as the criminals. Human rights organizations have criticized the prison. They say the conditions amount to torture, that forcing people to stand 16 hours a day, keeping lights on constantly, and denying them basic human dignity violates international law. Other people disagree. They say these men gave up their right to humane treatment when they committed such horrible crimes, that the families of their victims would gladly trade places with them if it meant their loved ones could come back, that 16 hours of standing is nothing compared to what these killers put their victims through. There's no easy answer. Both sides make valid points. And that's what makes Black Dolphin so disturbing. It forces us to think about justice, punishment, and revenge in uncomfortable ways. But let's return to the mystery we started with. How has nobody ever escaped? In 2016, something interesting happened. A prisoner did escape from Black Dolphin. News reports spread quickly. People wondered if the perfect record had finally been broken. But here's the detail that matters. The prisoner who escaped wasn't from the maximum security section. He was from a lower security part of the facility that houses less dangerous criminals. Different building, different rules, different security measures. The 700 men in the Supermax section, the serial killers, the cannibals, the terrorists, none of them have ever escaped. Not in the 24 years since Black Dolphin became a maximum security facility in 2000. How is this possible when other Russian prisons regularly experience escapes? The answer lies in the layers of security. Every prisoner is always under surveillance. The constant camera monitoring means guards know exactly where everyone is at every moment. The three-door system means even if you somehow got out of your cell, you need to get through multiple steel barriers. The blindfold policy means you don't know the layout well enough to plan an escape route. But there's something else, something psychological. When you stand for 16 hours a day, your body weakens, your legs deteriorate, your overall physical condition declines. After years of this, you're not capable of the kind of physical exertion that escape requires. You can't run fast. You can't climb walls. You can barely walk without pain. The soup-only diet keeps you malnourished. Not starving, they give you enough to survive, but never truly healthy or strong. The lack of proper sleep from the constant lights means your mind becomes foggy. Your ability to plan complex actions diminishes. Black Dolphin doesn't just lock you up. It systematically destroys your ability to escape, bit by bit, day by day. By the time you've been there a few years, even if every door magically opened, you probably couldn't make it out. It's brilliant, in a dark way. It's also terrifying. If you're watching this and thinking about how prisons work, about justice, about punishment, leave a comment below. Tell me what you think. Should the worst criminals be treated this way? Or does this cross a line? There's no wrong answer. I genuinely want to know what you believe. Now, let me tell you about the guards. Working at Black Dolphin isn't a normal job. You're not just watching prisoners. You're spending every day surrounded by the worst humanity has to offer. You look into the eyes of men who have done unspeakable things. You listen to their voices. You watch them on cameras during your shift. Some guards last only a few months before transferring out. They can't handle it. The psychological weight becomes too much. Others stay for years, but they change. They become harder, colder, less empathetic. The prison provides psychological support for guards, but many don't use it. They think asking for help makes them look weak. So they bottle everything up inside, letting the darkness they witness every day eat away at them slowly. Families of guards say their loved ones aren't the same after working at Black Dolphin. They come home quiet. They don't laugh as much. They have nightmares. Some develop drinking problems. Some become distant from their children, as if being around innocence reminds them too much of what innocence destroyed looks like. This is the hidden cost of a place like Black Dolphin. It doesn't just punish the prisoners. It damages everyone who comes into contact with it. And yet, the prison continues operating. The 700 men inside continue their routines. Stand, soup, cage, sleep. Stand, soup, cage, sleep. Years pass. Decades pass. Some prisoners die of old age, never having spent a single day outside those walls after their arrival. Others are younger and face the prospect of 50 or 60 more years of the same routine. What goes through their minds? Do they think about their crimes? Do they feel regret? Do they plan impossible escapes just to have something to think about? Or do they retreat so far into their own heads that they stop thinking much at all? We may never know. Black Dolphin doesn't allow interviews with prisoners. The documentary crews that visited could film them, but not speak to them. The men remain silent mysteries, their thoughts and feelings locked away as securely as their bodies. There's a statue outside the prison. It's where the facility gets its name, a Black Dolphin sculpture. Dolphins are supposed to represent intelligence, playfulness, freedom. They swim in vast oceans, traveling wherever they want. The men inside can see the statue when they're transferred in. It's one of the last things they see before the blindfold goes on, and they're bent over for the first time, a symbol of everything they'll never have again. Some people think the name is cruel, a dark joke. Others think it's fitting, a reminder that there was a time when these men were free, and they chose to use that freedom to destroy lives. Black Dolphin will continue operating for the foreseeable future. Russia has no plans to close it or ease its conditions. If anything, when new maximum security facilities are built, they study Black Dolphin as a model. The perfect record of no escapes makes it attractive to prison administrators elsewhere. So the next time you hear about a terrible crime, a serial killer caught, a terrorist arrested, a child murderer sentenced, know that somewhere, places like Black Dolphin exist, waiting, ready to receive the worst of the worst, and ensure they never threaten anyone again. Whether that makes you feel safer or more disturbed is up to you. The gray building in the Orenburg region continues standing. The guards continue watching. The prisoners continue their endless routine. And the secrets held within those walls remain locked away, just like the men themselves. This has been the story of Black Dolphin, the prison that breaks men, the place with no escape, the final destination for Russia's most dangerous criminals. If this documentary opened your eyes to a world you never knew existed, do me a favor, subscribe to this channel right now. We explore the darkest, most fascinating corners of our world, places and stories that will shock you, educate you, and make you think differently about everything. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and drop a comment telling me what secret place you want me to investigate next. Because trust me, we're just getting started.